All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is David with Lights and Lug Nuts, Semi Bright Reviews. And today we're going to continue looking at some of the bases that I have picked up that I wanted to do some reviews on. Today I'm going to bring you something a little special, at least in my opinion, a little special. This is, I've already reviewed the Grand General 1157 standard base and the Grand General 1156 Plus. Both of those are glass watermelon kits with a stamped stainless steel base. But today what we're going to bring to you is we're going to bring to you a watermelon light kit that comes to you from a company called Sonora Light Company. Now, Sonora Light Company's a smaller company. I don't know if it's a one-man show or not. I have had the pleasure of talking with the owner, and he's a great guy. He's over in Louisiana, so he's not real far from me. I'm in kind of southeast Texas, so it's kind of nice to have somebody fairly close by. But my understanding is that Joe is a truck driver and full-time, and he does this on the sides. Now, when I talked on the Grand Generals about knowing somebody who used to punch the bulb bases out and clock them and then repress them back into the actual watermelon base so that he could get his light patterns exactly perfect, I was talking about Joe. And I'm guessing he got a little tired of doing that and decided, you know what, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a better quality product out there. So he set on this endeavor to create his own bases. So what we're going to look at today is the flush mount watermelon kit from Sonora Light Company. So when you order from them, their webpage is www.sonoralightco.com. You just go to their website. This is their landing page. It's got a nice little W900 here with some of his lights on it. It's got a lot of good pictures and whatnot. But this is the flush mount kit right here. Now, there's not a specific part number that's separate from the 1156, the 1157, and then whatever lenses. I know that he just marks it individually on his boxes. So, with that being said, we're going to switch over to, it's a little, there we go. I had to adjust this camera before I switch it over to this teardown view of what I've got here. This is one of Joe's lights. This is an 1157 in a light amber. Joe's light amber is pretty light, but it's a beautiful lens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear this down. Now what you need to be aware of, and I'll show you here in just a second when I get this bezel off of here, because I just put it back on here and apparently I put it on pretty tight, like an idiot. So you get these screws removed. And we're going to notice the first difference between what we see here and what we see in the Grand General kits. So what I want you to be aware of here is in Joe's kits, the screws he uses are actually Allen head screws. Now, I don't know exactly what size it is. I have a 2mm Allen head screwdriver that is too small for it. I have a 7/64, which is a little too big for it. I don't know. I make do with a Torx head. Looks like a T10 is what I use to get it off, and it works just fine for the limited amount that I do. Now, the Allen heads, it's kind of it's a catch-22 on it. On one hand, they're really great for preventing theft. Say if you're a driver and you're out on you're stopped at a truck stop or something like that. I don't know if these light thefts are a problem, but this is one thing that can prevent your average truck driver sitting in his flip-flop driver sitting next to you at the truck stop from breaking out a Phillips head and just either stealing the glass off your watermelon lights or maybe removing the glass and then subsequently removing the whole housing. I don't know if that's an issue. But with the Allen head screws, I know that is something that would probably be less likely to do because you're less likely to have the exact size Allen head screws. The second thing I want you to notice is there is an O-ring between the glass and the chrome bezel or the stainless steel bezel. Now this is similar to the Grand General standard kit. The O-ring appears to be pretty much identical. I can't really tell a difference. I don't know that anybody would. If Joe ends up watching this, let me know if it's the same, if they're interswappable. I don't see why they wouldn't be. However, it may feel just a little bit thicker, in my opinion, than the Grand General Standard. Joe's glass, I asked him who made his glass for him. It is not stamped. He said that he has it custom made, and I do believe that, given the fact that it is not stamped. Grand General is a big distributor of glass, but if that's where he were sourcing it, first off, I have no reason to believe that he would lie to me about where he was getting it. Second off, it would likely be stamped Grand General somewhere along the edge. So he says he has his glass custom made. It is beautiful glass. And in the light tests, I will show you a little bit later on that because of where the grooves are at and how they line up with the ribbing for the rays, this is a 12-ray glass similar to the Grand General Standard glass. But I can tell you that where this is stamped and how it's stamped, it presents a beautiful pattern whenever it's turned on. The bottom gasket is one that he actually sends out 2 gaskets now. Apparently, when he was first building his kits out, the kit came with a much thinner, he calls this a foam gasket. I can't tell if it's a rubber foam, but it is not a traditional foam like you might think. This is a very sturdy foam. I like it. It's almost like a rubber foam. It is notched where the screw holes go, where the glass goes in. Very nice piece. The one that came with the kit was much thinner. I would say probably about half the thickness here. This one is much thicker, and he did send it free of charge with the kit when he sent it in. So I don't know if he noticed that he was getting some water intrusion in the originals, and this is something that he offers now as a standard with his kit. This is Sonora Light Company base. In my opinion, this thing is awesome. It is not stamped stainless. This is a billet base. It is 100% machined. You can see the machining in the base itself. And one thing I want you to notice, is we talked about this in the Grand General bases, is look at the clocking of the LED bulb as it sits in the base. Okay, this bulb sits 90 degrees to where the lens is going to sit, the lens housing. Like that. Now, but that's not all. If you don't like the pattern that it puts out when it's like that, Joe's bases offer a 90-degree offset so that you can turn that lens 90 degrees the other direction. So no matter how you mount this base, as long as these holes are perpendicular, so either perpendicular to the ground and horizontal to the ground, as long as they're not just thrown on there haphazardly and you do some planing when you mount this base on there, you will be able to mount that watermelon lens either vertical or horizontal and get the perfect pattern for how you want. The only thing you would need to be paying attention to is I would probably turn this on, apply some power to it so you kind of see what it looks like, and then make note of that because the bulb will have to be mounted in the correct orientation at that point. Now, this is the same bulb that I showed y'all earlier. This is one of Joe's bulbs from Sonora Light Company. This is one he calls the Padrano bulb. It is an amber bulb. In my opinion, it's a very, very light amber bulb. It's such a light amber. So if you have a clear lens and you're thinking about running just this amber Padrano bulb, you're going to get a very, very light, almost just a yellow color. I don't think that there's a lot of amber to it in my personal opinion. Coupled with his light amber glass lens, puts out a beautiful light, puts out a beautiful pattern. Overall, this entire light in this base, in my opinion, is incredible. You can see the machining on the lip. Now on the back, you'll notice what we have differently here is we have 4 mounting studs as opposed to the 2 mounting studs that you get on a Grand General. You also have your 2 leads for your hot and a ground that sits recessed into the back of the housing. And you can see the screw here, which holds that ground on there. Now, again, you could likely remove this ground from the base plate and ground it to one of the studs, and I'm sure it would work just fine. If you don't, you do need to make note that that ground comes out of the base slightly offset to one side. So you're going to need two things. One, you're going to need an oversized hole to get both of those through to keep this wire from getting pinched, the ground wire from getting pinched. And two, it might have to be slightly offset to allow the room that you need. Now, if you choose to take this ground wire off and mount to one of the studs to ground it out, which I'm sure is probably just fine, then you can get away with a single hole and a much smaller hole for your just two hot leads. One thing I have noticed about the Sonora Light Company light bases is because it's billet, Joe is sourcing all of these parts individually, I'm sure. So he's probably going to kill me for doing this, but it is what it is. So Joe has all of his individual pieces here. These are probably all individually soldered by him. The base plate is probably a source product. He has his springs. So when you get this, if this is loose in here, you need to be very careful about when you put this together, because there is a groove. Let's see if I can get this just right. There is a groove right here, okay? This tab on that socket has to go inside that groove, okay? Once you get that tab in that groove, it will sit properly. If you do not do that, if you do not get that tab inside that groove, then the points for the bulb, the contact points for the bulb, are not going to be lined up properly, okay? And it will not power the bulb up. So what I like to do, and I'm about to show you something else that I noticed, is I'm going to apply just slight pressure on the contact points, and I'm going to look at the back of the bulb here. I'll move my mic just a little bit so I can talk a little easier and get this. So I have noticed, there it goes. It's hard to hold this up. But this rubber grommet on Joe's lights from Sonora Light Company, this rubber grommet right here, if you do not make sure that that is seated down in the base properly, you will not get a bulb to go into the light base. So my suggestion when using the Sonora Light Companies, let this rubber grommet seat in there just right. Just apply just a little tension on it so that this stays well seated down into the groove base. Do not throw the bulb like I just did. And pick that up. Take your bulb, make sure you have it turned the right direction. And while applying just a little bit of pressure on the back side, just to keep that grommet from sliding back up into the base, take your bulb, press it in, and give it the correct turn that it needs so that the pins drop into the base right there. Once you do that, you're going to notice your bulb is going to line up perfectly in line with the holes for the glass lens. So the glass lens is a 12 ray. I think I already mentioned that. The base is billet aluminum, 4 mounting studs. He has it grounded right here, but I believe you could probably also ground from there. All stainless steel hardware. Now that's something else to remember. This is an aluminum base, okay? If you use a steel screw set to mount this, okay, aluminum and steel, unlike metals, okay? So they are not the same metals. Dissimilar is the word I was looking for. Dissimilar metals, they would corrode if you do not use stainless hardware to mount this. So if you get one of these bases, make sure you use, and he does provide it, use the stainless hardware that he provides to mount this to your truck, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have corrosion problems. With the stainless bases from Sonora or from Grand General, probably not a problem. You could use stainless on it, though I would not suggest it because you're going to have corrosion problems where the screws meet the truck or the bumper or wherever it is that you mount it. I would always use stainless, but that is something to remember here. You do need to use the stainless, because if you don't use dissimilar metals, you would get some corrosion. But this is the Sonora Light Company 1157, and this is their light amber kit. So we're going to go back here. This kit right now from Sonora Light Company, as it sits, is a $50 kit. So it is more expensive than the kits that I've already looked at. However, in my opinion, with the gaskets, the mounting, I think it is well worth it, in my personal opinion. For what it's worth, I'm not sponsored by anybody here, but I do like the base. I do like the billet. It does come with a clear lens, a light amber lens, which is what I have here, a dark amber lens, or a red lens. And I do have a red lens in an 1156 that I'm going to show you here in the next video. But take a look at it, give him a call. I am going to say this. I know that he is constantly working to upgrade and improve his products, and I am aware that he's got some stuff that he is working on, and to be on the lookout, because I think he's got some good stuff in the pipeworks. Now, if you're also looking for other stuff, let me get back to the web view here. He's got all kinds of other products. Now, some of this stuff I may look at later on. I did purchase some bumper light brackets for my future son-in-law. He does have pedestal mounts and whatnot. So give him a look, give him a shout out. I can tell you that it is definitely high quality products, and I've got 2 other products from him that I will be showing you here very soon. So I hope that you enjoy this episode or this quick video, and I'm going to break out some other stuff and let you see what else I got. And but if you got any questions, reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer if I can. Until then, please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and let me know what you think. Hope you all have a blessed day. Thank you.